Hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Thank you for joining me. I know I've been away for a while, but I had to deal with some, fatigue. But I think I'm feeling a bit better now today since I had a lot of rest. And I think of what else I should share. Well, I was thinking about just doing some practice since in my time of rest I wasn't really doing much of anything else. I just wanted to have a mental decompression break. And part of that break was that I was that last night I went to a fireworks show in my neighborhood. It was pretty cool. I got to have a small picnic and wait for the fireworks show to start out. They were a lot bigger this year. It felt like the fireworks were really close. And it was a lot brighter as well. I think that's all that happened so far. So what I want to do today is, yeah, I do want to do some gesture work, perhaps some head study as well. But I actually want to do a gesture specifically, since I haven't been doing that lately. I want to pull up my reference. I tried doing this traditionally, but I couldn't get around it, so I'm going to try to practice on my computer so that maybe it'll translate better on paper when I have my charcoal pencil. Oh, I should say that I already warmed up. I just want to get into it. But warming up for me is just drawing basic shapes, such as circles, lines. That. I do it a bit cleaner than this. But brushing up on my fundamentals is what helps me keep sharp. Especially when it comes to 3D shapes. Also, it's nice to have good line control. That seems good enough. That's basically how I warm up. Just circles, lines, like this. It's more to help my shoulder warm up, as well as my elbow and wrists. Also good muscle memory, and it's pretty therapeutic. So my reference is from my online art class. I take the Watts Atelier of the Arts online classes. I fell a bit behind, so I'm trying to get some practice works in before I submit anything final. Of course, they take traditional work, considering the course I'm doing, but I want to reaffirm the lessons digitally and hopefully it'll translate over traditionally when I use the charcoal pencil and the kneaded eraser. That's why when I try to draw digitally, I pretend it's still pen and paper. That way I feel less inclined to use the other tools, such as, the transform tool, the move tool, because, you can't do that on pencil and paper. I do, however, want to use the flip canvas to make sure my lines are okay. Try avoid using Control Z as well. Yes, I'm going to avoid using that. Using the eraser sometimes is faster than Control Z because, well, the way I've been doing it, I make several strokes, and sometimes I hit Control Z a little bit too much, and I screw up that line that I actually wanted to get back to. So it's just faster to erase and do the line again. Should loosen up a bit. A bit too close to my tablet. That's what Control Y is for you if you hit Z too often, but it's also a pain to reach more blindly. I never used Control Y. That's the redo button. I think I hotkeyed that somewhere else. I do need to draw a box as a makeshift newsprint canvas. Okay. So what I learned on traditional is that when you want to draw a full figure, you put the marker on the top and on the bottom based on how the model looks. So if the model takes from head to toe, if the model takes the full canvas, you jot that down. However, if the model and their foot is like, let's say this is the top of the head and this is the foot, then you draw this as the bottom of your draw canvas. But here, I'm going to use the full canvas, and I have to measure the equal distance between the two lines. I think it's here. And I have to use my eye to get this right. Using rulers is kind of a no-no. Oh, I nailed it in the first go. Nice. What I've learned from doing this on pencil and paper is that the middle point is usually further down than what I expect. It's never closer to the top line. Yeah, being able to eyeball stuff is important. Because that's how it's become intuitive. But just in case I'm not sure, I would go back and measure again using my stylus. If this was at my other easel, I would be using both my hand and a pen because I can't stretch my hand across the surface of the canvas. It hurts my hand, so I have to use a pen and my whole hand to measure the canvas, halfway point on top and bottom. I'm happy I got a generally good sense of space and distance. I'm glad you do, but I don't. This is something I had to learn all over again. I have to measure the distance. Sorry, I have to think about this in my head. I have to find the center line by measuring the equal distance lengthwise. I have to stop and explain it to myself first before I can say it out loud. Otherwise, I'm gonna stumble over my words. I found my center line. Great. I'm gonna ghost in a line here in the top because the head's not going here. Her head is a little further here because her elbow is more here. Next thing I learned is using the size of her head to measure the equal distance to the middle line. Measure again. So the middle of her body comes to where her legs meet her torso. That's about 3 heads downward. Not quite the middle though. Which is alright. You don't want sometimes you don't want the middle of the body to be the middle of your canvas. Because it might not turn out proportionally correct. I've had drawing sessions where I've drawn it correctly and then wound up having like the legs way too long or the torso becomes way too long or something else just goes awry because I was following the steps way too strictly to the point where I was screwing myself up. I've never tried using heads as a measurement before. I think that's one of the first things people learn when they draw human bodies. They've learned to use the head as the measuring tool. That's where you get the idea of the ideal woman is 7 heads high, the ideal man is 7.5 heads high. I believe the heroic statue is 10 heads high. Fashion is 9 heads high. I believe the average man is 6 heads high. I believe that's the case, but yeah, that's where the head measurement came from. I remember reading it in my drawing book for Loomis. He even had like a scale of from real man to heroic figure and how much taller and the difference of stature it takes. He does have a have a picture of a woman, but her height doesn't change that much from realistic stature. Yes, but I'm largely self-taught and barely paid attention to art classes for thinking I had nothing to learn, you know, like an idiot. Yeah, even though, like, I would pay attention to that type of stuff, I just didn't put into practice. It's one of those things that you remember, but you don't do. I'm sure you've had that before. I think it's more of those things that you remember, but you don't do because you feel that it's too much work. I drew this line here because I think that's where her torso would hit. I'm gonna lighten it a bit so it doesn't get in my way. Okay, I'm gonna start with her head. Oops. That's a bad habit. I'm gonna take my hand off my hotkey there. Where is this? That my circle was not tilted down enough. Yeah, she's actually looking down into the right. She would be looking down at her hand this way. So her head would be like tilted this way. How often do you just freehand stuff without laboriously setting up the art equivalent of scaffolding before starting to draw? How long does it take to just do freehand stuff? I believe in my first stream, I was still, as you say, scaffolding, but I think that I was just doing it in such a way that didn't feel laborious. It felt more natural. It was still scaffolding. It took about 15 to 20 minutes. Like I said, if I just practice the whole scaffolding part, as you say, it probably just gets faster. It definitely feels faster to me. Like, if I just move this a bit here. If I were to just draw her as is, as I see here, it would look like this. Not really thinking too much about it. I'm just gonna look at what I'm seeing. Probably not gonna turn out well though. elegant. And this is why gesture work is important, because this part will go a lot faster the more you understand gesture. I'm not really doing her body justice, but this is how it looks like to me right now. From just taking a glance, bring it down, taking a glance, bring it down. This way. Look over here. Yeah, that's it. It didn't take too long, but of course it doesn't look great, but that's how it would be. Also, it's not very accurate. This looks weird. This is too far apart. This is not large enough. This is definitely not large enough. The neck is awful. So the better you get at gesture sketches, like quick sketches, this will become more defined and such. It's not bad, oh thanks, but it's not also not great. This could be a lot better. I didn't define her calf at all. But you can see what all the shapes are. You can see her head, you can see her chest, you can see her pelvic bone. You definitely see her legs, her foot, and her other arm here. I'd be interested to see how it compares to your more constructed version you'll do on the right. So okay, I'll just leave this up then for you to see, since this was just a quick sketch. I want to erase the... I'm gonna undo the arrows, if I can. There we go. So I'm gonna leave this up, and it will be a comparison to my structure drawing. The thing about my structure drawing is that I still have to do a gesture first before I define the realistic parts afterwards. I have to remember to erase the circle underneath it. Otherwise those lines get in the way later. The thing about this part is that's the slowest. Right. Let me see something. There we go. So I'm gonna refrain from using Control Z and all my other tools. I'm just gonna do full canvas mode. It's better for me so I don't have to keep moving it around. Also, hold on. There we go. Alright, that's way better. I can see and you can see. So my teacher says that when you do the gesture, it's a series of B, S's. So the neck would be a C. This would also be a C. but part of her neck is invisible. I can't do a full sleeve. This will be a straight. This is considered straight even though it looks like a, this is a straight. Because it can be drawn like this as well. Okay. Easiest. Right here. I'm definitely drawing this a lot smaller than what it actually looked, but that's alright. Let's see. Make this a bit wider. That's another thing my instructor said, like, you need to make something wider. Place the line down. Place the correct line down and erase the incorrect line afterwards. That's why you don't lose your spot. This is a bony mark of her neck. And the easiest. Actually, I'm gonna do what he does. Just draw the lips. Am I reading off from your lessons instructions? No, I'm just looking at the sketch that my instructor did. I also have a photo of the model herself, but it's easier to read all of the marks that he draws based off his drawing. I also watched the video before, about a couple of times, so I'm kind of remembering what happened in the video. But it's just reinforcement of what I learned before, which is you look for the bony marks, you look for, well, you start with the head as your measurement tool, and then you look for the bony marks like your clavicle bone, the sternum, which is front of your chest, the acromion process, which is that bony mark on the shoulder in the front. People call that the clavicle bone, but it's not actually the clavicle bone. It's actually connected directly to your shoulder blade. I just realized her head's not there. No. There we go. I'm gonna erase this. Correct it. Oh, good thing I caught that. So yeah, my step-by-step process is based off what I've learned before. Just realized the head wasn't defined very well. The neck seems fine. Now, fix this part. I'm going to use my gesture drawing over here to explain what I learned. So the head is a measuring tool that measures the height of the entire body. So like I said, this woman's about 6 heads tall, the whole length of her pose. And then there's the bony parts, like the process would be over here. Her sternum would be right here. It's where her rib cage is. The rib cage is also a bony landmark. A lot of people need to remember that. That's something I have to remember. There's also the acis. The thing about the acis is that it's more prominent on a woman than it is on a man. This is the pelvic bone, those bony marks on the woman's body. Then there's the kneecap, which would be here and here. The ankle bone, which is actually more visible on this side. I don't think he drew this one. Imagine it falls apart a little after you have to start bending the body instead of just standing up straight. It starts to fall apart. Not quite, actually. I mean, her body is twisting away from us, and yet I can still understand what's going on anatomy-wise. It's just in my gesture, I made her waist way too thin. Like if the legs are 3 heads tall, if the legs were 3 heads tall, you'd still be able to make it look nice. That's just a stylization at that point, if the legs are that long. You just crack the head in the middle half if you have to bend the knee. Crack the head. No. No, of course not. Of course you don't need to do that. I'm gonna need my tool set back. Here. Just use this. Go. Good. So that's how her height would be, from the top of the pose to the bottom of the pose. It's 6 heads tall. One moment, I have to take care of something. Thanks for waiting. Wait, what was I? Oh, right. So, yeah, this is the entire length of the figure. You don't have to break anything in half. You just have to follow the head size that you drew. Regarding the whole legs being really long, I don't know. At that point, you're just doing a stylistic choice. This is for drawing, real people. After all, like I said, in that Andrew Loomis book, to draw a fashion figure would be 9 feet heads tall, and a heroic figure would be 10 heads tall. So those are obviously stylistic choices. And then there's the ideal man, who's like 7 to 7.5 heads tall, depending on how you want to do it. Add this out. Okay. I'll tell, would she be standing still 6 heads? Possibly, yeah. I think she would still be 6 heads tall. I think that's the average human being. Well, perhaps it's the average Atelier model, like nude model you draw from, they would be that tall. Barring that they're not wearing shoes or standing on a pedestal. If that's the case, why would she still be 6 heads tall seated? I can't tell you. It's a proportional thing. You gotta keep your measurement tools consistent. As long as her head doesn't change in dimensions, then her height will not change either. Well, it shouldn't change. Eh. Okay. Now I'm just thinking about what you asked. Because I believe I did draw a man who was also seated. And his image was also really small. I believe his measurement was different. Let me check. Yeah, the man seated is about 5 heads tall. Since she's seated, she wouldn't be standing up straight, which would make the most sense that the measurement... But if she's seated, that would logically change the height. Yeah, of course. This is why Yeah, it's more like the head size is not proportional to just seating, it's also how the legs are posed. Like, her legs aren't that far out from her body, so that's why it's 6 heads tall. So she would be maybe 5 or 4 heads tall seated. At least in this pose, if I had to guess. Good question. Let me just measure that real fast for you. No, she's 6 heads tall, seated down. Like I said, it really depends on the pose. If I were to hold on, let me show you, actually. Because I drew the man here for... So this man right here, as you see, I drew him twice. This is the better picture because it's more accurate. This man is 5 heads tall because of his pose, but that's because his legs are like this. I'm following the size of his head in proportion to like where his feet are. And his feet, like his legs, excuse me, this one is foreshortened and this one is outstretched. So by that measure, by measure of verticality, it's not that much of a distance. However, with the other woman that I'm drawing right now, here, you can see her pose is way more vertical than that man's. You understand what I mean? Like, his would be like 5 heads tall, seated down, but hers is 6 because her legs are closer to her body than the man's. Measure that from the reference, I assume? Yes, I did measure it from the reference. I used her head to measure the height of her entire pose. It's from the top of her head to the bottom of her chin. I think I drew her a bit too far for my second one. I think I'm gonna have to use my tool here. Those rare instances where I have to. Just for the sake of progress. I said I wasn't going to, but I need to. Okay. here. All right. I have to pull her arm downward. So I'll see wider upper arm. That's the rib cage right here. I made it a bit longer. That's alright. This part's always the slowest because it's the part I mess up the most. Oh, I'm struggling. Struggling right here. I can already tell that her head looks small. Hmm. Right here. Oh? What's up? Is this Disgaea 5 music? Yes, it is Disgaea 5 music. The song is called Wolfberry. Yeah, man. Bolt Ren didn't deserve Disgaea RPG. I agree. They should have given it to someone else besides them. The Bolt Ren Disgaea RPG just died. an undeserving death. Which is a shame because the Sky as a series is struggling. Who would have been a better developer for the Sky RPG besides Bolvin? Developer and manager. But I don't remember the publisher. I almost say Nexon or Yostar, but they probably both sacrifice it on the pyre for Blue Archive's sake. The thing is, both of those are publishers. My question was about developers. I suppose Nexon is the developer of Blue Archive, but before it was Nat Games, or Nexon 8 Nat Games. Regarding Arknights, Hypergriff is the one that develops for that, and Yostar is the publisher.
Tougher than leather, you can call me Knuckles. Unlike Sonic, I don't chuckle. I'd rather flex my muscles. I'm hard as nails, it ain't hard to tell. I break them down whether they solid or frail. Unlike the rest, I'm independent since my first breath. First test, feel the right, then the worst left. Born on an island.
I think Blue Archive is Yostar's in Korea and Japan, maybe, but Nexon is publishing for global. Ah. Yeah. Ugh.
Your heart free, true. Cleanse yourself with them evil spirits that's in you. Streaking lights, loud sounds, and instincts are the elements that keep me going. I am fighting my own mission. Nothing's gonna stand in my way, no. I will be the one to set your heart free, true. Cleanse yourself with them evil spirits that's in you. Won't be fighting now, stand up to all the pain and turmoil. Just believe in myself, won't rely on others. Get this power to wipe out the havoc and anarchy. This is my planet, gonna fight for my destiny. Here I come, rougher than the rest of them, the best of them. Tougher than leather, you can call me Knuckles. Unlike Sonic, I don't chuckle. I'd rather flex my muscles, I'm hard as nails. It ain't hard to tell, I break them down whether they solid or frail. Unlike the rest, I'm independent since my first breath. First test, feel the right, then the worst left. I have no such things as weak spots.
I'm not turning off. I'm making a lot of mistakes. You see, if this was on paper, the paper would be ruined by now. I should take my time here and figure out what I'm going awry. Let's see.
That's why I stay alone. I was born by myself. I don't need a posse. I get it on by myself. Adversaries get shelved. Right on.
Wear and tear on stationery? Yeah, exactly. You don't want that to happen, otherwise you have to go through another sheet of paper. Damn. Kind of wondering what I want to do for summer now that it's officially started. I hope I get to go to the beach this year since I didn't get to last year. I didn't finish the other leg yet. This arm looks too low. Right. There we go. Easy peasy. Still looks too low. Maybe? Let me see. Looks about right. It's like looking a little too low. Tighten it a bit. So for my lessons, this is where the gesture come in. It's mostly the legs. Well, you saw it here. I established the rib cage and the obliques and such. This whole straight line here is how you make the gesture for the arm. And then there's the legs, which I think I might have to move over one. Use this again. Now leave it as this. More to sky music. Yeah. Oh no. It's gonna go off the page. Oh wow. It's gonna go off. This is too far out. Unless I can cheat a little bit, which does happen, by the way. Because the thing about this foot, that the toe ends actually right here. As long as I don't supersede this line, I think I'm good. Although I might have to, because it looks looking really weird. Go over here. It's probably fine. There we go. That's how you cheat. A little bit. Although, don't do it too much. Otherwise, you're gonna lose a lot of muscle here, especially on the calf. I'm still iffy on drawing calf muscles. Why? They're like super easy. But I guess I do okay. I think you do pretty... I think you do pretty amazing with your thigh muscle, to be honest. Because you basically like draw it like this. Just how much to show them on either side of the shin. I think when it comes to the shin bone, this is a pretty good leg actually. Let me just define the knee a bit. Damn, it's a good looking leg. Anyway, when it comes to the shin, just I guess you have to establish your knee first and just follow the direction of the bone, which I suppose in this head-on state it would... Hold on, let me visualize it first. Let's see, the tibula looks like this underneath all that skin and muscle. Let me draw a better foot. There. So, yeah. This would be the tibia. And the fibula doesn't get too much definition at all outside of the bony node on the outside of the calf, which is usually right here. That's where the fibula would be, which is the smaller, thinner bone. That's the only way you would see it, and I believe, let me think. I believe it can be seen. It's situational. If the calf is lean enough, you can probably see it, but you would have to squint really hard to see it on a normal body. But I don't think it's too important outside of realistic drawing. If it's stylized drawing, then this mark isn't too important. Just know that it's right below the kneecap. Specifically the kneecap's tendon. So this would be the kneecap, which is more towards it sits on at the base of the femur bone, which is up here. So this is where it will be at. It'll be at the very end cap. And then the tendon would be here. And this is where that bony head of the fibula would sit, just right next to each other. I think this side of the calf is what trips people up, as well as this one, because they forget that it needs to be offset from each other. Like, it needs to be at a diagonal such as this, because that's how they can balance each other. It's a lot of the human body is like this. It's a lot of counterbalancing, such as that. Like, the human spine is like this when you think about it. Here you have this skull, the neck, the spine, the lumbar region, the pelvic region. Let's see, the femur, and just the calf bones, and then you have your foot. That's how the body works. And the muscles are the same way. They also have a series of counterbalancing each other. Yeah, the spine sure ain't straight. If the spine was straight, you would be in so much trouble. A lot of your organs and muscles would not work if your spine was perfectly straight. But yeah, it's just a lot of counterbalancing. It's the same going this way too, I believe. The counterbalance of the am I thinking about this right? Hold on, let me flush this a little bit. Yeah, the femur actually looks like this. It's at a slant. Because it's connected to the pelvic bone at an angle such as this. I'm getting distracted again. But yeah, it's as long as you follow the bones of the body, you can't surely be lost at all. You just have to just pay attention and consider what you're putting down. Let's say you want to draw the calf from a 3/4 angle. So you would say this is where your foot is. Okay, posture would be like this. This. Let's say the knee is somewhere right here. And the ankle bone would be around here. So, oops. So, by drawing the ankle bone, you essentially find what you're looking for in the shin bone, or the tibia, as it's actually known. But shin bone is fine. I like to keep things simple as well. Your ankle bone, or whatever bone you want to start with, should be your guiding star in this aspect. Because the ankle bone already shows you the planes in which you're drawing in. So the ankle bone would be on this side, the main bone is on this side. That's 2 planes right off the bat. This is the front plane, and this is the side plane. Even though it's the same bone. Excuse me. And the kneecap and its tendon would be here. Its tendon would look like that. I know the kneecap usually looks more like this. Yeah. Curve it in. But just want to say that this part is not a bone, that is just tendon. That tendon is important for keeping the kneecap in place and connected to the fibula. Define it as Actually looks like this under your skin. Oh, and then there's another tendon above your kneecap, which I believe is covered in this way? I don't remember. I think that's how it was. I'm going off the top of my head, but it's connected like that. So you have this tendon here, this tendon here. This is invisible, mostly due to fat on the quads. And because it blends well with I think it sits in between the two quad muscles. I don't quite remember, but it's more invisible no matter how lean that part of the body is. So you almost never see it, so you don't have to worry about it. But you will always see this, unless, I don't know, there's too much fat on your calf for some reason. And if you want to, in a gestural way, you can just define the calf muscle as you see curves like that. That way, when you want to go back and draw it, you just... That's really small, actually. Make it a little bit bigger. There we go. And don't forget the other side. Counterbalance such as this. If you want to, right in the middle and see if it lines up. Which I think it does. It looks like it does. I should go back and read my anatomy book again. Something I can do in my downtime when I feel like reading something. This looks too wide to me, so I'm going to fix it. I hope I was able to explain that well. I was kind of rambling for a bit. Oops. Keep tapping my mic. Sorry about that. I just don't have a proper place for this mic. It's just sitting on my desk near my hand. Let's see. You only got like 15 minutes to finish this gesture now. Oh no! Oh, boy. Plenty of time. Plenty of time to finish this. See all my mistakes, but it's okay. Hope this could be seen. I'm not sure. I'm not obscuring anything. Done. Okay, there's the comparison between the two gestures. This one is the one I took my time with versus the one I just quickly sketched. This leg is not... Yeah, I agree. I would lower this foot more. It's not... definitely not long enough. Length of the shin isn't consistent. I agree. I was just comparing these two. Okay. Oh wait, you still got like 20 minutes? Okay. I was going off the clock instead of how long you actually been streaming. Ah. No, don't do that. This space is narrow. I think might angle the arm a bit more. Actually. Okay. Okay, this is the gesture. I finished the gesture. Now I have to place in the structure. That's gonna take a lot of, different changes, which is fine. Correcting as you go is part of the process. I should probably explain what I mean by structure. I'm placing down lines to give the figure a 3D effect. These lines are to also define her muscles and her bone structures. Here. Having to glance every now and again is a little bit annoying. But I can manage. I'm used to having the reference right in front of my face, except I have to keep turning my head and then jotting it down and turning my head and jotting it down. It's easier if I had to just move my eyes rather than my neck. Excuse me. Pardon? I was just taking a sip of water. I hope I'm doing this right. Let's see. I don't know what... I don't quite remember the name of some of these muscles, especially on the back and near the scapula. The shoulder blade. What's this? Oh, apparently Twitter has somehow managed to DDoS itself. Excuse me? It's doing what? Good job, guys. Ugh. Is Twitter down again? Now I have to check. Well, I can access it. Check my feed. Well, I have to screen cap this with the translation. I hope I can show it. A moment. Can I show it? No. One moment. So stupid. There we go. Everyone who tweets despite Twitter API restrictions is this. Let's see. care what I see here. Let me just resize this. There we go. I'm losing my mind if this is actually the explanation, choosing to believe this as if it's the funniest and simplest answer. This is hilarious. It appears that Twitter is DDoSing itself. The Twitter home feed has been down for most of this morning. Even though nothing loads, the Twitter website never stops trying and trying. In the first video, notice the error message that I'm being rate limited, then notice the jiggling scroll bar on the right. The second video shows why it's jiggling. Twitter is firing off about 10 requests a second to itself to try and fetch content that never arrives because Elon's latest genius innovation is to block people from being able to read Twitter without logging in. This likely created some hellish conditions that the engineers never envisioned, and so we get this comedy of errors, resulting in the most epic of self-owns, the self-DDoS. Unbelievable, it's amateur hour. Oh, wow. I'm gonna like and retweet that. I'm just gonna retweet that. What's this? What is it? Oh. Is this screen cap from Mastodon? I don't know what Mastodon looks like. Oh, it is from Mastodon. Let's see it. Can I get to work? Holy crap. Here we are. Oh, gee. Oh boy. Look at this. This is so stupid. Let's check this out. Yeah, it's... Sorry, you're rate limited. Please wait a few minutes and try again. Look at this jiggling. Holy cow. This is 5-head behavior. Jesus. Oh. Yes, I want to close. More news from the Idiot Factory, I suppose. The self-DDoS is the most hilarious self-own I've ever heard. Maybe I should just move fully to Instagram and just avoid this nonsense. Because Twitter is just imploding again. Who knows? Yeah, whoever knows. Twitter is kind of bad for artists just because you can't really make a good archive using it. That is true. I've been using Twitter, Instagram, but I've also been using what's it called? Artful? Hold on, let me spell that out actually. That's an app that I've been using. It's kind of like the Instagram for artists. It's specifically made for artists and people who are non-artists. And also, let's see. I've been using another social media platform called Vero, but that's more of a I don't know how to describe it. It's like it wants to be Instagram and Twitter all in one, but it's its own thing. I've been using that app since the very beginning, so I have special, what's the word, flagship privileges. So I can basically use the app for free for life since I was one of the first to get on board on using it. I'm still using it. I like the way it looks. It looks stylish. It's pretty cool. There's a desktop version of it, so I can upload my artwork as easily from there too, while it doesn't sacrifice its UI at all, which is pretty impressive for a social media built by like one man's funding. The thing is, there's always DeviantArt. Freaking yikes! No, I quit DeviantArt. I deleted my DeviantArt account because I just had enough of their nonsense. I can't get traction there either. Even when I was uploading a picture like once a day, every day, because I was using Pokemon to get on my drawing rut. I was drawing Pokemon a day once a day, and I barely got any traction with that. It's Pokemon, which is weird. And then when I hear about their whole AI art nonsense, I was just like, you know what? Screw this. I'm deleting my account, and that's the end of that. Never going back to DeviantArt, not for use or anything else. Wow? What do you mean, wow? Is it really that shocking? Didn't know, I guess, that you decided to delete it. Yeah, sorry about that. I deleted it a while ago. After a while I just didn't find much use for it. I wasn't really uploading it to it anyway. Thought it was just a kind of a how do I describe it? It's not I'm not gonna say that it's a waste because it's not. I think I just outgrown its use. Perhaps that's what I'm looking for. I feel like I've outgrown DeviantArt. Besides, there's better art gallery websites like Pixiv, which I should really go back to Pixiv. I really do like Pixiv. I mean, despite the fact that I haven't uploaded anything on Pixiv in months, literal months, people are still finding my work and liking it. I think I have 2 or 3 posts from that are ancient in times of the internet, like upwards to probably 4,000 or 3,000 likes. Meanwhile, I can't even get like 1 on DeviantArt. So Pixiv is doing something right. I'm just checking my phone. I got a notification from Pixiv. Another person liked my image. What pictures? Let's see. Let's see the date. Yeah, this thing I posted in 2019 is still getting likes and still getting views. It has over 3,000 likes and 22,000 views. Yeah, Pixiv works incredibly well. The fact that this how long is that? Almost 5 years ago? Yeah, 5 years ago, 5 or so years ago. That this picture that I posted, which I can't show because it's not safe for work, is just getting more and more likes and more views by virtue of, I don't know, the tag system or just people finding it more useful. The people viewing the art can add their own tags to it, right? Yes, but the tag system is incredible because it seems more helpful if the tag system is in, like, you know, Japanese. If you can tag things in Japanese, it'll get more hits, obviously, even though you're whether you're an English speaker or otherwise. Just tag your art on Pixiv in Japanese. And if you don't know the hiragana, excuse me, just search it in English, actually, and it'll give you the Japanese translation of it, to which you can copy that and put it in your Pixiv post tags. What's it called? The form. Yeah, put it in a tag form and you're set. That's what I did. That post that I got over 3,000 likes on, it's a how to draw post. And I posted that in Japanese so that more people can see it. I have to look at Pixiv later. Also, I just like Pixiv in general. That whole, like, multi-page post. You can have a multi-page post in one go. You can have a post that's, let's see, what's the largest one I've seen? Like 25 pages? That's incredible. Meanwhile, you're getting limited on Twitter to just like 4. On Instagram, it's 10. On DeviantArt, it's only just the 1. If you want to do multi-page, you have to use Stash, which is private anyway, unless you can send someone a link. It sucks. Yeah, I'm going back to Pixiv. Oh yeah, you can probably just post entire dojins in Pixiv in one post. Yeah, exactly. That's what people have been doing. Like, if they want to preview their dojin, they just put like a few pages of it, probably at like a smaller size, not high res. Or if they're not doing profit, they just post the whole dojin right there and it's fine. You can read it as is. Oh, there's also those other things that Pixiv have. Fanbox. You can stream live on Pixiv if you wanted to. Pixiv is basically... Pixiv is if you took Parto and Picarto and DeviantArt, make it both better, and smash them into one. On top of that, there's Fanbox, so artists can get paid for their work. So you can add, I suppose, Patreon on top of that too. The 3-in-1, it's perfect. Of course, I don't really know how Fanbox works on a global element. I just know that you have to pay for access to it. I don't know if it's monthly or just a one-time thing. It's based on what the artist sets. Excuse me. Hold on, I have to turn off my fan. There we go. she's holding something here. I don't want to completely finish this. Well, maybe I'll finish the detailing and then I'm going to end the stream. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. It's not a. While I, while it may look that I executed this pretty well, I'm not quite satisfied the way it looks. I can see some problems with the legs, the arm, parts of her upper back here. I have a problem with her head. But I feel that this went much better than my attempts on pencil and paper. At least I feel that whatever I'm learning in the traditional sense is translating somewhat well into digital side of things, which I am glad for. Although I should make some things easier for myself to do. I'm not sure what exactly she's supposed to be doing with her arm myself. She's supposed to be grabbing onto the arm of this bench, but I didn't do it very well, which is fine. It's fine to leave errors like this because it's a practice. The whole point of this exercise is to understand what I'm doing. And I understand portions of what I did, and I understand the mistakes that I've done. And learning from those mistakes is how I will grow and learn to not replicate those mistakes. Hopefully, not too often. And taking a moment to slow down and work and realize what I'm doing is also very important. I'm reaching that point where my brain's like, ugh, hurry up. But I don't want to hurry up. I want to slow down and see what I'm doing. What I'm doing right and what I'm doing wrong. I want to defeat the impatient part of my brain so that the patient part of my brain can grow. I think he said to draw the bone first before you flesh out the calf. go. Realize I was bring up the foot. Sorry about that. Here we go. Okay, I think I've more or less finished. I'm not gonna add the detail to the head because that part's not really important. So, let's see. I want to address what I did right and what I did wrong and compare it to the previous gesture here. Let's see. So here it's pretty evident I didn't define this shape at all. This shape is incorrect on the gesture. The waist is too thin. The legs are way too thin. And the arm is angled incorrectly. So while I got the gist of the pose, I see a lot of errors that I did here. Also, I just realized the tilt of the hips is incorrect here. But this is based on me just glancing and drawing and glancing and drawing. Here, however, the pose is more or less correct, but I see some proportional problems. Her arm definitely looks too long, doesn't align with the kneecap in which I want. The negative space here is too narrow the way I drew it. Let's see. Yeah, it's too small. This negative space is too small. Half. Half is more or less fine. It could be better. I'm sorry, not the calf. I meant the thigh. Both thighs could be more refined. This one should have been more foreshortened. It's actually tilting towards the viewer, not in the way that I drew it. It's not forward, it's actually tilting this way. Which means that this calf should have been longer. This calf should have been longer. The funny thing is, when I drew this in paper and pencil, this was way too long, and here I drew it way too short. So, yeah, discrepancies all around. But let's see. I think I drew the torso fairly alright. I think I made hers a bit more narrower than what the instructor did. Yeah, I should have done that. Define her oblique a bit better. The same. This could have turned out better. Let's see, the rib cage is this whole area is the only one I'm actually satisfied with. The head is. I think the head is too small. If the head was slightly bigger, it would probably make more sense. Overall, structurally, it's better than my first two attempts. I'll say that for sure, but there's still problems. It's fine that I recognize those problems. Whenever I make these types of mistakes offline and on my easel, I write down what I did wrong, and then I redo it and try to avoid those mistakes. Which is a good rule of thumb. If you're studying your art and you realize you're making mistakes, write down what you did wrong and write down how to avoid that mistake again. Taking notes is a good way of talking to yourself in a sense and walking yourself through your process. Excuse me. Also, I realized being live for more than 2 hours, I should have taken a small break. Taking a small break would have helped me catch these mistakes faster. I think that's a problem that most artists, whether online or not, they don't practice taking breaks. Okay. Taking breaks is very important. It allows your brain to relax. It rests everything. It rests your body, rests your brain, rests your eyes. It allows you to see what you did. But there's this compulsion just to keep going, which is understandable. It's nice to have that kind of passion, but you could be hurting your work process by not taking a break and not allowing yourself to breathe for a moment. Even if the break is like 5 minutes, it could be enough to fix or catch anything that you've done, which I should have done in retrospect. I'm much more likely to catch mistakes if I were to time myself. I usually have a timer in which let's see. If I was working for 30 minutes, I'll give myself about a 10-minute break. If it was a 20-minute work, then it'd be a 5-minute break. But I like to go longer, and I believe if I'm working for 45 minutes, I should take a 15-minute break. And 15 minutes is it's more than enough actually, to take a moment to look at what I did, fix anything, write some notes to myself, maybe look out the window, make my eyes look far into the distance so they can relax. Taking care of your eyes is also really important. I think that's your eyes are one of the most neglected organ in your body. Just staring at a screen, actually, not even just staring at a screen, even staring at a paper book is bad for your eyes, especially for hours on end. Your eyes need to look out into the distance, otherwise you're just going to give yourself a headache because it's focusing on this one point that's really close up. There we go. So yes, taking breaks is important. Rest your eyes, rest your brain, rest your shoulder. I realized throughout that whole thing, I was not using my wrists, even though I have like this 13-inch tablet. I was drawing mostly from my elbow and my shoulder, and I'm none worse for wear for it. The reason being is that drawing from the wrist is too much of a strain, because I feel like I'm death gripping the stylus, which you shouldn't do. You should not be gripping your stylus too much, and you shouldn't really draw the way that you write. I know that's a quote-unquote blasphemous thing to do, but you're doing more harm than good when you do that. What you deem is more control by gripping the pencil like that is actually giving you too much of tension. And too much tension means that your art looks way too stiff as a result. I think that being said, I'm gonna wrap it up here. Thank you for joining me. I actually had a lot of fun talking about this. I think I kind of more talking without the headphones in my ears, because hearing my own voice echoing back at me is something I have yet to learn how to turn off with these streams. But hearing myself talk back to me lets me know if the microphone is functioning correctly. So it's a necessity in a way. But I still want to listen to the music. Either way, thank you for joining me. I'll be ending the stream right here. Oh, 2 hours and 30 minutes. That's actually pretty solid. So I will take the rest of the day off. Goodbye and farewell.